Hello and welcome to another episode of the Williams Learning Lab. In this episode, we are going to do the Bohr model of carbon. So let's get started with a review. When we do Bohr models, we are going to represent the nucleus in the center of the atom, and we are going to have the protons and neutrons labeled there. So P equals the number of protons, N equals the number of neutrons. Electrons orbit in shells, also called orbitals. In that first shell, we're going to have a maximum of 2 electrons. And on that second electron, they start to pair. The second orbital, or the second shell, it's going to have a maximum of 8 electrons, as seen here in the green. And these electrons don't start to pair up until the 5th electron. The third orbital, seen here in blue, it has a maximum of 8, and those do not pair up until the 5th electron as well. That fourth orbital that's on the outside here, we're going to have a maximum of 2 here, and they will not pair. The reason why we have a maximum of 2 here, because if we add another electron, we start getting to transition metals and they behave differently. So the Bohr model of carbon. So what we're going to need here is a periodic table, and I already have this information listed for us. And so we're going to use the atomic number of 6 here to tell us the number of protons. Well, that atomic number 6 also tells us the number of electrons. To determine the number of neutrons, we're going to take the atomic mass unit, which is 12.01, round it to the nearest number, 12, and then we're going to subtract the atomic number. So the big number minus the small number. That's going to get us 6. I'm going to draw a circle here for our nucleus, and then we'll have our P equals 6 for the 6 protons that we determined, and then we will have our neutrons equals 6. That's the one that we calculated. And then we have 6 electrons that we need to place in this Bohr model. Well, let's start with the lowest shell first. And that innermost shell is going to have a maximum of 2 electrons. So we're going to put both of those right there. Around this next one, we have that second orbital. It can have a maximum of 8. But since this atom only has a total of 6 electrons, we've already spent 2 of those electrons, so we can only have 4. And we do not pair up our electrons until the 5th one, and we won't even get there because we ran out of electrons. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 electrons. All right, it's pretty useful because when we look at our carbon atom here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 valence electrons. That's the outside electrons. So that means it can have up to 4 bonds, and that's one reason why Bohr models are so useful. If you found this content useful, would you please consider commenting, and subscribing? And until next time, keep on learning.